Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Entering the Veil. Today's topic is entitled, God is my co-pilot.
Far too often, we have seen these words plastered on the back of someone's car or even on a t-shirt. I often wondered if anyone really understands what a co-pilot is and the limitations they are putting on Yahweh by reducing him to a mere co-pilot. Co-pilot. A co-pilot is defined as a qualified pilot who assists or relieves the pilot but is not first in command. Is this truly the position that you want to put Yahweh in? If the co-pilot is not in command and Yahweh is reduced to merely being a co-pilot, then who is truly in command? Let's see if we can answer this through the scriptures.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, See, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. Thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send the children of Israel out of his land. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. Exodus chapter 7, verse 1 through 3.
Here we see a clear case of who is truly in command. Notice that Yahweh says to Moshe,
Thou shalt speak all that I command thee.
So there is no mistake in who is running things here. Furthermore, he goes on to let Moshe know that Pharaoh is not going to listen to him because he, Yahweh, is going to harden Pharaoh's heart. Let's get an understanding of why Yahweh was going to do this.
But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand upon Egypt, and bring forth mine armies and my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt, by great judgments. And the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh, when I stretch forth my hand upon Egypt, and bring out the children of Israel from among them. And Moshe and Aaron did as Yahweh commanded them. So did they. Exodus chapter 7, verse 6.
Now, it is quite clear that Yahweh had something to prove. You see, Pharaoh and the Egyptians did not know who the God of Israel was, and he was going to make sure they knew him by name and by his works. Time and time again, you can read where Pharaoh was okay with letting the children of Israel go. But shortly after making that decision, it says,
But Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go.
The hardening of Pharaoh's heart was so that Yahweh could not only judge the Egyptians for what they did to the Israelites, Yahweh's chosen people, but to also show them that he was the one true and living God, and not the images that they were worshiping.
Then Pharaoh called for Moshe and Aaron in haste, and he said, I have sinned against Yahweh, your Elohim, and against you. Now therefore forgive, I pray thee, my sin only this once, and entreat Yahweh, your Elohim, that he may take away from me this death only. Exodus chapter 10, verse 16 through 17.
So many problems came upon the Egyptians, so much so that Pharaoh had to call Moshe and Aaron and ask them to talk to Yahweh for him, even admitting that he had sinned against Yahweh. To the Egyptian people, Pharaoh was in command, but once faced with all these different plagues, they probably wondered why Pharaoh doesn't just let these people go. But you see, Pharaoh was not the pilot of this mission, Yahweh was. Now, after all that Moshe did when it came to following Yahweh's every command with leading the children of Israel out of Egypt, all it took was one instance for him to forget his position, and out of anger, he did not follow the specific instructions given to him by Yahweh.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink. Numbers chapter 20, verse 7 through 8.
Please pay close attention to the fact that Yahweh told Moshe to speak to the rock. Let's hear what Moshe actually did.
And Moshe took the rod from before Yahweh as he commanded him. And Moshe and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water of this rock? And Moshe lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice. And the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. Numbers chapter 20, verse 9 through 11.
There is a big difference between speaking to something versus smiting it. What this means is that instead of speaking to the rock like Yahweh commanded him, Moshe hit the rock with his rod. Not only did he not follow directions, he made it seem as if the water was being given to the people by him and his brother Aaron. Therefore, he exalted himself and his brother above Yahweh. This one error in judgment, this one time of not following Yahweh's instructions to the letter, this one time of forgetting his position, forgetting who is the pilot versus the co-pilot, caused Moshe not to enter into the promised land.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and Aaron, because you believe me not, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. Numbers chapter 20, verse 12.
Man, that must have been rough, being told you are not going to enter the land that was given to you. Even in our personal decisions, we make choices that our family and friends may not always understand. But are these decisions truly our own, or is it Yahweh's will that you be taken over by your heart's desire? Such was the case with Samson.
And Samson went down to Timnath, and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother, and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Judges chapter 14, verse 1 through 2.
Samson's father was so upset